Hello, explorers. We are back talking about the continent of Australia today. It's actually the smallest continent, and the cool thing is Australia is not only a continent, but it's also an island. And if you remember, an island is a area of land surrounded on all sides by water. Islands can be very small, or they can be really large, like Australia. So let me read to you from this page. It says, if you look on a map, you will see that Australia is a large island. Not only is it a large island, but it's also a country and a continent, just like I said. So here's the map. And as you can see, whoops, sorry about that. Here is Australia. And you can see it is surrounded by water on all sides. But yes, it's also considered, or it is also a continent. And this area over here is New Zealand, and all of this is actually considered a region called Oceania. But if we're talking about continents, then we're just going to refer to Australia right here, this island. All right, let me shrink this back down. It says, every year on April 25th, Anzac Day is held there. This special day is a national day of remembrance. On this day, people remember all soldiers from Australia and the country of New Zealand. It is a day of saying thank you. Did you remember that we do that for our soldiers as well? Remember, that's called Veterans Day. We hold it in November. And then there's Remembrance Day in the United Kingdom. So there are a lot of countries that do special things to say thank you to our soldiers. And I'm really excited that we're one of them. Far out in the desert lands of Australia, there is a large sandstone rock called the Uluru Rock. The Aboriginal people of Australia gave the rock its name. For the Aboriginal people, the rock has special meaning. They believe it connects them to their ancestors. So the people in Australia are called Australians, and the very first people to live in Australia are called the Aboriginal people. There's a very large desert area in the middle of Australia known as the Outback. So let me expand my map so I can show you where that is. It's right here. It's this dark area on the continent of Australia. This is where many Aboriginal people live and where the Uluru Rock is located as well. So it's a very large desert, as you can see. It takes up most of the continent of Australia. Kangaroos live in Australia. They are expert hoppers. Kangaroos can hop about at great speed. In fact, if they want to walk, they must use their tails for balance. Mother kangaroos carry their young, called joeys, in a special pouch. So a pouch is a pocket, and kangaroos have a pouch where they can hold their babies. So you can see it's right here. This is the pouch. And see, there's the joey, the little baby kangaroo poking his head out. The kangaroos, the mother kangaroos, carry their young in their pouches until the babies are old enough to take care of themselves. Could you imagine if your mom carried you around in a pouch until you were old enough to take care of yourself? That seems so silly. Koalas live in forests in Australia. They only eat eucalyptus leaves. They hardly ever drink water. They get everything they need from the eucalyptus leaves, and you can see those leaves like right here. Just like kangaroos, koalas have special pouches for their young. That's pretty cool. Now, eucalyptus leaves, like you see here, are tough, round, gray-green leaves that grow on an Australian tree. And that's the only thing that the koala bear will eat. And can you imagine never having anything to drink? Yeah, so there's obviously enough water in those eucalyptus leaves so that the koala can survive. It is time to pull out your Color the Continents map, and we are going to color the continent of Australia. And it's asking us to color it brown, but I don't have brown on my app, so I'm just going to use a really dark orange. If you have a brown, then that's the ideal color. So I'm going to go ahead and color down here. And if you remember correctly, when we looked at the continent of Australia, most of this area was the Outback. Do you remember what the Outback is? Right, it's a really large desert. So I'm coloring all this and down here and this area. Now, that's the continent of Australia, but when you look at maps, a lot of times when they color the continent of Australia, they actually include the countries that are part of a region called Oceania. So I'm going to color this and this as well. So there you go. All right, great job. All right, explorers, let's pull out our passport, and you're going to turn to page 7. It says Australia up here, and we're going to glue the 3 stickers for Australia in our book today. So we're going to start with this guy right here. Do we remember what he's called? It's kind of a big word. Yeah, he's an Aboriginal. Can you say that? Yeah, Aboriginal. And remember, the Aboriginal people live primarily in the outback, which is that really large desert in Australia. So he's going to go on our Australia page. And then we're going to slide this guy on our page. Who's that? Yeah, that's a kangaroo. Remember, kangaroos have a pouch that they carry their young in. And then next, we're going to glue on these guys. What are these called? Koala bears. And what are they eating? Eucalyptus leaves. Nice job. Those are some big words we used today to glue our stickers onto our Australia page. Well done. I hope you enjoyed Australia.